I'm Nicole Lappin, the only financial expert you don't need a dictionary to understand. It's time for some money rehab. I feel like if you know the medical medium, you know he's got a cult-like following in the health and wellness space. He's a #1 New York Times bestselling author, has sold millions of books, and has millions of social media followers. And by the way, he's not following anyone, just like Queen Beyonce. To be clear, Anthony William, aka the medical medium, is neither licensed in medicine nor a medium, but he never professes to be. He does say he's able to channel a spirit to get information he uses to help people with health issues. If I lost you with some of that, let's bring it back to money rehab land, because this conversation isn't really about the medical medium's health practices, although we do talk a little bit about celery juice because I couldn't help myself. Instead, you're going to hear a conversation about the crazy business of the wellness space and how that has changed since he came to dominate the category. Plus, you'll also hear how these big wellness personalities make money, and you'll be able to compare and contrast that against how the medical medium makes his money. And that money trail brings us to some very dark places. You've been warned. Let's go. Anthony William, aka the medical medium, welcome to Money Rehab.
Hey, I want to be here. I want to help in any way. I'm honored to be here. Incredible. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Right now, I have all your books on my lap. I was, fun fact, a Russian literature minor almost in college, and this feels like Russian novel vibes. It feels like a weighted boyfriend blanket on me.
Oh my God, that is a compliment, a major compliment. So I'm seriously blown away.
I have long been following you. Of course, though, on the show, we tackle things all finance and wealth related. Nobody really wants to hear me talk about health, but I think health and wealth are directly connected, as I hope you do too. And typically, we say that our health, our body is our most valuable asset, right? You can always get more money. You can't get a new body. You can always get a new job. You can't get a new body.
It's so true.
We have to take care of it.
Sicker you get, more money it costs. The sicker you are, it's harder to make money. When you get sick, everything becomes a struggle. Everything just starts, even sometimes a screeching halt. And I'm not talking about super sick. I'm just talking about just things are falling apart. You're getting some fatigue, you're getting some brain fog, and dreams could come crashing down. But when you're in that point where you feel indestructible, you just feel like, how can that ever happen? That would never happen.
Yeah, so you feel invincible. And there's a difference between not drowning and swimming. So what do you suggest to folks around protecting their body against the effects of stress?
Well, you're talking to a workaholic. You're talking to somebody that burns a candle at four ends in a dangerous way. Talking to somebody who's really irresponsible on that level, right? So I'm a terrible role model, terrible person to ask this for real, because I'll work 22 hours a day, burn myself to the ground 6 months straight of doing that, and get a half a day's rest and do it all over again for the next 6 months. So the only difference is like I'm taking care of myself at the same time, right? So I'm using all the medical medium tools. I'll do the celery juice. I'll do 64 ounces of celery juice. I'll just use the tools, and then the meditations, and then everything that, Spirit of Compassion is given to me. And I'll keep my glucose really high. I'll keep my mineral salts really high. I'll keep my HCl really high, regardless of the stress and the bullshit and everything else that's going on. I'll have it all jacked up. I'll be using all the tools so I can just keep on burning myself down to the ground or at that level, and then build myself up and keep myself stable with the tools. So I'm a bad person to ask, really. And that's what I've been involved with all these years.
I mean, your endorsements look like the prom of celebrities, like from The Rock to Sly Stallone to Robert De Niro, Hillary Swank, TVF. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
I mean, so the people in the medical meme community, I mean, they're seasoned. They have strong faith. They've seen it all out there. They're no fools. And that's medical meme information globally. And millions and millions of people are drinking their celery juice. That's just one medical meme tool. They're doing the medical meme information around the world. And And equal to that, equal to all these people healing, there's all these people in the dog eat dog health world that are jealous, angry. Why is this medium guy so known? How come his books are everywhere? How come people talk about the celery juice? And they just get pissed off and they want to take the medical medium down. They're so sick of hearing medical medium. They're sick of seeing it everywhere. They're sick of seeing people bring their books into the doctor's offices to show their doctors. They're tired of it. There's that crew too in the health world. It's just dog eat dog world, but it shouldn't be that. It should be when someone's sick, we should be happy we can find answers and get them better.
Well, I want to get to the dog eat dog stuff because this is wild what's going on with you. We'll get to that in a second, but let's double click on the celery juice part of it because you're the originator of the celery juice movement. If anyone has heard of celery juice but doesn't necessarily know the health benefits of it, can you let them know for anyone who's thinking about potentially trying it?
Well, if I act like somebody in the health movement that hates the idea of celery juice, oh, it just hydrates you, man. It's bullshit. It doesn't work. It hydrates you. I'm a nutritionist. I'm a dietitian, and it just hydrates you. And he's just tricking everybody with the celery juice thing. I had celery juice many years. Yeah, I mixed it with carrots and beets, but I had celery juice. Like it's endless the amount of kind of stupidity around it. But what does it do? It's first of all, science hasn't tapped into celery juice. So anybody with the whole thing, like what does science know about celery juice? And it doesn't do anything. They're just so off the mark. Okay. Someday they'll study it like a real study, and they'll find out that inside here is a trace mineral salt that's different than salt, sodium. And so we're in the thinking that all salt's the same. All salt is the same, and it's not. In celery, it's different. It's herbal medicine. It's an herbal extraction. And people need to realize that this is an herb right here. So when you extract enough of this juice from this herb, something magically happens in the body. One is the subgroup of sodium. Sodium cluster salts is the term Spirit of Compassion has given me. Those sodium cluster salts destroy pathogens. People are sick with viruses and bacteria. They got H. pylori, they got strep, they got staph in their bodies. They got fungus, yeast, they got mold, they have viruses, Epstein-Barr, HHV6, shingles, HHV7, multiple varieties of Epstein-Barr, herpes simplex 1, 2. They have it all out there. People are loaded with bugs. The celery juice starts to break down the sheath of the bug, the membrane that keeps the bug strong and happy. It's a bug destroyer, and it's not the end all and be all. It's not like, I love when somebody will say, he just thinks celery juice will fix it all. It's like, no, I don't. But it has. It has fixed it all in a lot of people. There's people out there that haven't changed anything but celery juice and pulled themselves out of chronic illness. There's a lot of people, they're sick with different things, different pathogens, toxic heavy metals, different stuff in their system, toxins and so forth. And they need more than just a little bit of celery juice or a lot of celery juice. They'll need protocols and more information. But celery juice is a big part of restoring people's HCl, their hydrochloric acid, their stomach glands, which get shot from coffee all these years. It brings back the liver. It restores the bile reserve so you can break down fats for people who are on high fat diets. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but the breaking down the fats better is a good thing. The liver being strong is a good thing. The stomach glands being strong, the HCl being strong, because you're killing off bugs and pathogens. You're breaking down your proteins. You're breaking down your foods. You're assimilating your foods better. And these are all the things that can happen when you're doing your celery juice. And I'm going to stop there, but I could go all day about what it does.
Hold onto your wallets. Money Rehab will be right back. And now for some more Money Rehab. Okay, so let's really dig into the controversy stuff because you keep alluding to it. What do you think people's issue is? Yeah, kind of. You're just like, it's dog eat dog, like they're haters, whatever. Like, let's talk about it.
So when people say medical medium doesn't send you to a doctor, he thinks he's a doctor. I do not think I'm a freaking doctor. Okay. Never said I was ever. And I've always been supportive about people seeing their doctors. Always have. But I can tell you right now, yeah, sure, there's a lot of doctors doing holistic medicine now, but you go back 20 years even, and the whole health movement, for what it was, as small as it was, freaking hated doctors. I know, because I'd be like recommending them to go see their doctor. And even people that are in the health movement now that have books and they're known, who saw me for help, came to me for help years ago, they hated doctors. It's like it's crazy how it works. And now I'm the guy that suddenly doesn't tell people to go to doctors. Are you kidding? That's all I've ever done for 35 freaking years. But anyway, the health movement has changed. It's not about the well-being of somebody, it's about money. And I understand, you start a business, make money, earn money. Money is what makes this world go around. Without it, you're underneath a bridge in a cardboard box wrapped in newspaper. But it's all about money and being someone. And that has become a raging epidemic of people wanting to become somebody known, making money at the same time. And it's this stardom that's taking over everyone. Everybody wants to be a star. Everybody wants to bank. And that's fine if you want to do that. But when it comes down to health, when it comes down to somebody being sick and losing their shirt, and they're all screwed up in the brain because they're so sick and they're suffering, we got to really think about like answers. And that's why, like, people say, well, AW, you must be so filthy rich. You must be a billionaire. You must own every celery field in the world. You must be banking like nobody's banking. I'm like, really? Because everything's for freaking free. Everything is for free. You can get the books at the library. Get them at the library. I don't sell programs. I don't sell courses. I don't sell classes. I could have been a billionaire with that stuff. That's how many people would have signed up to my courses for whatever, $10,000 a pop. And that's what everybody's being trained to do out there. It's like money, 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 health, money, money, bitches. And it's like, dude, and you're all forgetting about it. And I'm proud of anybody who paves the way. They make some money. They're working hard. They love health. Fine. I'm not against them, but I'm saying it's become that. It literally is dog eat dog. And it's not about that person really suffering and struggling. It's not. If it was, the game would be different out there, but it's turned into quite a game. It's unbelievable when I think about it. But overall, you can get medical medium information for free. There's no firewall, paywall. There's nothing on the website. There's no subscription fees.
But AW, you're making money. Like this, you're making money on books.
And I
like, just to be clear.
And I dump it back into the biz to help people to provide free information. I got a whole
let's
team.
Clarify that a little bit more, because that's important. Because I think a lot of this controversy, you're right, and I'm glad you said it, comes down to money, as everything does. I believe that's why we have a show. That's why we have a network.
I believe you're right. I believe that it does all come down to money, even if it doesn't look like it comes down to money. It's about money.
Always
it is. I mean,
you want to get to the heart of any story or any problem, follow the money trail.
Exactly. Right. And yeah, okay, I do get a tiny percentage as an author. It's pathetic, but I get a tiny percentage as an author. If you sell enough, royalties. If you sell enough books, you can make some money. And what I do with that money is I dump it back into free material, and I pay an entire team. Yeah, sure, I need money to live, and I use that money to live, right? For sure. But I dump a big part of it, almost every bit of it actually, into the team that creates free information nonstop for people. I mean, we have done all of that. And then, come on, a book is like a business card. Authors know it's not where you totally bank.
This is so important. Yes. So I've written 4 books. I have 6 more on the way. So you wrote books through Hay House, right?
Yes.
Did you get an advance?
I love Hay House.
They're great, right? In the industry, like in the book world, Hay House doesn't give like the biggest, juiciest advances. But I'm assuming you got something. You got money up front.
Correct. Exactly. Right. But when you get a book advance, guess what? You got to pay it back. How about that one? So that's important for people to know. It's a loan. and you got to pay it
You have to
back.
earn it back.
Yeah.
Just for anyone who doesn't
Regardless.
understand how it goes. So like an
Yep.
advance that you get, can you tell us directionally how much that advance would be?
Well, I mean,
$1,000, $5,000,
people
$10 million.
people political figures get like millions and millions. They get 50 million, 10 million, 20 million. I mean, I don't get anything like that. And people need to understand it's small, exactly what you said, compared to other people in industry and authors and novel makers and all that, right?
In the hundreds of thousands of dollars, not in the millions, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I don't get advances in the millions. No, no. But people do. And people who write health books do. But what happens is what people don't realize is that it's your advance, and every book that's sold pays off that advance. It goes against it, right? So royalties, you don't make any royalties. It's all going up to that advance, right?
So if you're getting $100,000 advance,
It's
that's
just a
an
loan.
estimate, right, of what they think you're going to be able to sell. So until you make out that advance, you're not making any more money. So the books that
Correct.
you sell up until that amount, beyond that, then you get a small percentage of it.
Exactly. And that small percentage, and it's small. And that small percentage goes to my team instead of something else. And what it does is it goes to my team, but it doesn't go to my team to create material to sell people, courses, classes, certifications. I mean, I could go to town with that, the stuff I can do, right?
You don't sell any other stuff besides books.
No, nothing. I don't have any merch. I don't sell t-shirts and hats. I could do that, right? I can do merch. I don't have my own supplement company. I could do that. I can do my own celery juice company. I have people knocking on my door all through not only the health industry, but some of the most powerful people in the world say, let's go into business together and let's do a celery juice company. And I'm like, nope, nope. And they're like,
or like a juicer or whatever, like the stuff that
yep,
you
I don't
promote
own the
online.
juicer company. Exactly. I
Is there an
endorse.
affiliate thing? Do they give you?
I endorse an incredible juicer that saves people money, because I believe if it saves people money, then that's incredible. So I endorse a couple of companies, right? But I could have my own juicer company, but I don't. I could have my own celery juice line, but I don't. I can have my own supplement line, but I don't. I can have courses and classes and certifications galore, like
Totally.
boom.
I believe that.
And yeah, and more than that, my website hits the most out of the health websites out there in the world. Can you imagine? Like, boom, subscription fees, paywalls, none of that. But here's the point. Here's the message. The message is, yeah, I could do all that. And guess what? I'm going to lose sight on the chronically ill. They've already been swept under the carpet. They're swept under the carpet every day. They've already had losses and pain and suffering. If I get wrapped up into that side of the world so heavily, and I'm not judging anybody in health that does any of that. Good for them. Okay. But I can't do that because I will get lost in it all. And I won't have my eye on the people that are suffering. I have to really work hard on these books to get the information from above in these books. I have to focus on that. I have to know that someone has a shot to heal. It's not just about the industry and banking. It's about a shot to heal. It's about a chance to get out of bed off of Mattress Island, which is a medical medium term, but off of Mattress and Couch Island and become free. And that's what it's about. It's critical that I don't lose that. And that's a big piece of it right there. And yes, money earned, just like anybody earns money. The difference, I dump tremendous amounts of it in the sense where someone would call that a lot into free material. They would say, what, did you just make that PDF, which cost you thousands of dollars to have your team work on, and you just gave it for free? A PDF with all this information in it? You're crazy. You're a fool.
So there's this crazy Vanity Fair article about you with a bunch of allegations. You have come out with a very, very juicy podcast series about this alleged plot put together by competitors and rivals to take your brand down. I would love for you to tell this story. Please start from the beginning, because I think a lot of this is money motivated. They probably want the books and the shows and the things. How did all of this go down?
There's a hit piece on me like every 10 seconds. There's a hit piece on me every year. I don't know. I mean, it's it's just it's how it's done out there. I think that, just being the medical medium, the whole medium thing, it's just like a kick me sign on my back. That's all. It's just like just walking around with a kick me sign on my back, because that's basically what it is. So there's always discrimination against me. So I don't cry about it too much, discrimination, but I call it like spiritual racism, discrimination, you name it, because I'm not allowed to be spiritual. Someone else is. Everybody in the yoga studio, they're allowed to be as spiritual as they want. Spiritual gurus are allowed to be as spiritual as they want. Everybody's allowed to partake in every new age aspect, every spiritual aspect there is on the planet. Not me. I'm not allowed to be spiritual. So it's like I'm discriminated against for hearing a voice all these years anyway. Discriminated because I'm not a doctor, but yet I'm putting out most advanced medical information. So that's already there. So I'm painting the truth, or filling you in on the truth of of what I'm up against anyway, right? And I think that that's a big part of it. So yeah, a hit piece, there's always going to be a hit piece coming out.
And the podcasts that you're doing about it, which are wild sauce. I mean, the
did.
audio that you have around this stuff.
Just be prepared to have your mind blown, because what occurred has never happened ever in the history of health and wellness. It just hasn't.
So essentially, for anyone who hasn't yet listened, it was a money-making scheme for rivals.
It's factual, documented evidence and information
of a takedown plot.
My opinion isn't even in it. So I haven't yet really given an opinion on it. I only just presented the information and the evidence. So I have not yet, professed my opinion on it or anything yet. So I haven't.
Well,
I wasn't
now,
prepared to
sir.
do it here. The time is now. Do it now. Get pushed off the cliff now.
Nicole's not pushed off the cliff. I'd love to just know how you feel about it.
Oh man, I'm hurt. I'm brokenhearted. Whole thing sad. I'm hurt. Yeah, I'm hurt. And I'm hurt because I knew the people. I helped the people. I had the kindness in my heart. Some of the people, I helped them at their darkest hour. And the part that really stings too is it's the carelessness or selfishness of not realizing that you're hurting a community. And there's people that are trying to heal, and there's people that they're fragile and they suffered already in their life, and they just want to heal. And so, sure, say what you will about me, but what hurts is people being injured by it. And I think that hurt by the misinformation. And I think that's a big part of the problem right there. And that's what I care about. I care about people being like, wait a minute. And they're hearing things, and they're hearing falsities, and they're hearing misinformation, and it's confusing them and throwing them off their game of healing. They're just getting their life back. They're healing their neurological symptoms. And then all this planned attack happens, and then they're caught in the middle of it. The community, the medical meme community, they're caught in the middle of it when they're not supposed to be, because they're just supposed to be supported and empowered and getting information and help so they can heal. So I think that's the part that really hurts.
Sucks.
I mean, it's definitely serious.
Sucks. Are you thinking about a lawsuit?
I'm just, I'm processing. But by the way, I'm not allowed to, everybody else is allowed to process, it's like,
You're
hey, I'm
allowed to
processing.
process.
I'm not allowed to
You
process,
are.
right?
I
I have
didn't,
to
I don't
always
know who
have
you
the
gave
answers
permission.
immediately,
No.
right? But I'm processing. Let's just say
Okay.
that.
All right. Has your business been impacted? Have you felt any ramifications?
I mean, I think that I think no one will understand what I went through. They'll never understand. Like what my family went through, what I went through, my team went through. No one will ever understand what that was, what that felt like, what it cost, what it consumed, like emotionally, mentally, all of that. It's like you, it's like someone who gets into this terrifying car accident and they're traumatized and they're trying to tell other people what happened and no one understands them. They were driving down the highway and they got to a bridge and someone truck cut them off and they drove off the bridge and they landed into the San Francisco Bay and they sunk down 50 feet and they were screaming while they were banging on the car window and they somehow got out, floated to the surface, got hypothermia, and then crawled onto the side of the river and literally somehow got out through it and managed to stay alive and survive. But anybody they tell or talk about, or anybody that talks to them, they'll just never understand. They'll be like, dude, a truck jackknifed me off the bridge. I went 100, 200 feet down, crashed, sunk down to the bottom of the river, somehow no one will ever understand. That I do know because it was that horrible in so many ways.
Can't imagine.
Because you know how media is.
I've heard of it. Well, listen, I know this is hard to talk about. I really appreciate you opening up about it. I'm sure it's also really hard to always be in the position of helping other people. And sometimes you need help too.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that there's just a sinister way too that media works. Media doesn't care about you or your family. Maybe not every media there is, but media for the most part, they don't care. They're heartless. They're cruel. And they just want to get a rise for their media corporations. You know what I mean? That's how media works. They just want to
business.
It's a business, right? It's a business. And so I'll say that much.
I can't even imagine. Well, thank you for saying that. We end our episodes by asking for one tip listeners can take straight to the bank. I guess if anyone is going through hell, what would your tip be? It sounds like you've gone through hell and back.
Keep a few things in mind that you're not alone. I think that survival here on the planet, we often feel like we're alone, but we're not. If you're fighting to survive, if you're trying to create a business, if you're trying to make money, if you're trying to monetize, you're not alone. I think when you realize you're not truly alone and you're not in it alone, even when you may feel that way, you might not have family support, you may not have friend support, maybe you have limited support and resources, but you have a fight in you and you have a will in you and you know your value. You know you have something to offer, whatever business it is, regardless of what it is, health or any other business. I learned from a young age is you have to get out of your soul and your mind and your being that you're alone in it. When you think about that, strength happens and occurs deep inside of your soul, deep inside of your heart. Emotionally, you get stronger for it. Mentally and even physically, magically, things happen to help you actually succeed.
Money Rehab is a production of Money News Network. I'm your host, Nicole Lappin. Money Rehab's executive producer is Morgan Lavoie. Our researcher is Emily Holmes. Do you need some money rehab? And let's be honest, we all do. So email us your money questions, moneyrehab@moneynewsnetwork.com, to potentially have your questions answered on the show or even have a one-on-one intervention with me. And follow us on Instagram @moneynews and TikTok @moneynewsnetwork for exclusive video content. And lastly, thank you. No, seriously, thank you. Thank you for listening and for investing in yourself, which is the most important investment you can make.